God, can you hear that? Just like, ah. I seriously do need to use 2 hands just to bring that thing over. Mostly for like safety reasons. I don't want to like rip this thing off the desk. Or it might like take a chunk out of it as I'm trying to move it. So I'm gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. All right. So, him, la 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 la. Hey everyone, this is Coffee with Soul, where I run the clock for a little bit and try to figure out what game I'm going to play while talking with folks at home and elsewhere. What's up to Gelzon? You're always the first person to say hi, so what's up to you? What's up to Coffee Fiend? What is up to Punku Monster? What's up to Lo-Fi? And of course, what is up to all the beautiful digital smiling faces who will be joining us either live or in the VOD. Welcome, it's good to have you. Valandor, that's a new name. Good to have you. Good morning to you too. And I wanted to address one of the biggest questions that I typically get about me and the channel. Actually, there are two. One, nameplate scrolling combat text is the damage thing that I use for my that I use in game that a lot of people see, and typically a lot of folks will be like, oh, what is that? And I'm like, dude, I like made a video just to answer this question. Hey, how about that? But I think it's appropriate for me to bring that up again and again and again. Try scaling. Hey, what's up? Good morning. It's cool to see new visitors. Yay! Gotcha. Now you get to suffer through what it is that I'll do. So anyway, the other big question that I'm typically asked is, where do I get my shirts? And like this one right here, with Bob with a monocle and the coffee, and the coffee, that sort of thing. And it's a very, very simple answer. I get it from the Blizzard store. That's it. They don't give me anything. I'm not sponsored or anything like that. It's more like, Dee will send me she'll be like, hey, come take a look. I'm like, oh, what's up, babe? And then she'll be like, look, shirts. I'm like, ooh, shirts. And then I'll typically look at the stuff that's either on sale, or on promo or something like that. And I'll typically pick up stuff like this, which I dig. So sorry. I'm promoting this one because it's a Bob, right? It's a Bob with like extra gauntlet stuff. Right here, he's got like a bow tie thing. It's pretty dope, and it says coffee. So, I think Blizzard made this. I think they made this for me. That's probably the truth of it. There are other shirts that I've worn. There's like the actual Bob shirt. That's the one that I made myself. And someday, if I ever get a store back, I will sell those again, or some variation of it, or something new. For a little while I was into like, oh, let me make some cool swag that people can share. And it was funny. One of our viewers, Flan, I saw him at BlizzCon and he was wearing the shirt. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, boom. That it was pretty dope. So seeing that sort of stuff and that representation and just the fun and whimsy of it all. One, it makes me miss BlizzCon a lot. But two, it's also cool to see that it's like, oh, someone was interested. Hey, that's pretty sweet. Hello, Betty, and again to all the folks that'll be joining us. There are a couple of topics that I kind of jotted down, I think. Oh, okay, here we go. See, trying to stay organized. Good for me. I noticed that this week Gamescom is going down. For those who aren't fully on top of what Gamescom is, it's like E3 but bigger and not in the United States. And those who may remember, at last BlizzCon, Blizzard showed up. The WoW team showed up. They made the announcement, hey, Shadowlands is going to come out October something. Whatever that was. They had like a little splash, little trailer with visuals and yada, yada, yada. It was great. And then it wasn't. because obviously there was a delay, and then fast forward to today. So this week at Gamescom, I guess some folks are speculating, rumors or flying about fake leaks and so on and so forth. And I wanted to show off one, and I wanted to show this one off specifically because a Blizzard person, I forgot what they did. They were a dev of some sort. I think they were an engineer or something like that. They specifically retweeted the picture, or they tweeted the picture of this very thread, and was just like, ha! Because I think someone else was had also tweeted the picture saying, yep, this is definitely going to happen. So if we're going to see some big announcements at Gamescom, this is going to be it. And so the Blizzard dev person was like, yeah, right. But I wanted to share this one just so we can share in a little bit of whimsy and ridiculousness before I maybe get into other topics, maybe more serious or whatever. So let's read, friends. Blizzard Entertainment will become Insight in 2022, parentheses leak / spoilers, close parentheses. Blizzard Entertainment is being dissolved early 2022. It is going to be replaced by a new team called Insight that will be a more direct part of the renamed Activision Insight. Much of Blizzard, though not all, will be sacked and replaced with new employees for Insight. It's already so ridiculous I can't even fully comment on that entire phrase. Diablo is considered by far the most promising franchise at the present. Diablo 4 has 3 planned expansions. A remake of the original Diablo is in the works. Diablo Immortal will receive a PC and console release 1 year after its mobile release. An untitled Diablo PvP game will begin development under Insight. The Diablo team, like the Hearthstone team, will be mostly unaffected by the company shifts. Much of Blizzard, though not all, will be sacked and replaced with new employees for Insight. So now that there goes like half the claim anyway. World of Warcraft is entering official maintenance mode. The little work that was already put into the expansion after Shadowlands will be released at 9.3 sometime in 2023. 9.3, despite the name, has nothing to do with Shadowlands and is just made up of salvaged stuff from 10.0. Classic servers will be merged into 1 or 2 with the launch of Watlet Classic in 2023. This will be the last Classic expansion planned. Actually, this, I would say, is the most feasible out of everything that we've read so far. Given that the Classic era realms and the state of that may warrant more coalescing or more merging of realms, and I think that's like kind of inevitable, that there's only going to be like a couple of servers and that's it. Although Classic Fresh is still something that I think a lot of folks are still looking forward to. Anyway, a new untitled World of Warcraft successor MMORPG is in the works, looking to take a lot from, predictably, Final Fantasy XIV. They had to get that for the clicks. This is going to be developed by a majority new team than those who made and worked on World of Warcraft. It is not a sequel, but a total reboot with new lore. Currently only in the planning stage, the base game will focus on Valences, and Outland, with playable races from both worlds. It is currently believed to not have factions. It will not borrow from Hearthstone, which will remain separate and continually updated with new expansions. A Warcraft mobile MMORPG project has been in the works since 2019 and will continue under Insight, focusing on drawing in an audience from China. It is separate from the new PC MMORPG. The last report said it was canon to WoW, though it is unknown whether this will change with WoW entering maintenance mode. A Hearthstone spin-off game is coming out. It's going to rebuild off of the auto battler modes added. Overwatch is believed to be unsalvageable, failing to capture any modern interest. Overwatch 2 has been cancelled, as have multiple smaller mobile projects set in the same universe. Overwatch in late 2022 will receive the maps and heroes planned for Overwatch 2, but not the PvE modes. A Netflix original series is in the works and seems unaffected by these cancellations. Right. StarCraft is completely abandoned in any way, shape, or form. There are no new plans for RTS or MOBA of any kind. Because their franchises and lead characters like Sylvanas, Tracer, and Kerrigan no longer capture people's imaginations like they used to, there has been a lot of work done on developing a new IP. After 3 canceled projects, they've been working on one since early 2020, set in a unique fantasy universe. It will debut with a gacha-style RPG and will be announced at either Gamescom or E3 next year. BlizzCon 22 has been canceled, but I'm certain you've all guessed that. If there is, you know what? This line right here, the whole thing about taking certain IPs and making a gacha style RPG, that's already out. It's already out. Someone's asking, what's a gacha? What's a gacha? A gacha, it's another way of saying a game that is designed around loot boxes. So in this case, it's the kind of game where it's like, okay, you want to beat up a boss or you want to clear a map or something like that. So you want to get your characters together, but you can go into the shop and you can buy loot boxes of like high level characters or something like that. So you can get a greater advantage at beating the boss. But anyway, something like this is already in because there's so many pirated games that are, I'm sorry, not pirated games, but there are so many basically rip-off games that are based on like auto battlers or things like that, and then the characters that are being used are like, oh, here's a zombie banshee, who looks exactly like Sylvanas or whoever, or like alien princess who's like obviously Kerrigan and that sort of thing. So it's already here, guys. Again, I wanted to highlight this just to show off like how some of these ridiculous rumors come about. I think there have been some other threads with people linking pictures and other such things, some of which were, I think they alluded to private servers, and so I don't really want to show that. And even the mods over at mmo-champion, even though they're very, they're very like, whatever. Even they have a modicum of control. Another first-time viewer, Spirits, says, "Morning. I appreciate your fresh, and outside the box thinking when it comes to WoW. I wish I was home having coffee with you. Cheers." Oh, thank you for reminding me. Woo. Ridiculous. Now, as for anything that may be coming out or any possible reveals, we are getting like little drips of news with regards to patch 9.15. There is a low chance that we'll get an official announcement. Well, I mean, everything has been kind of official, but we may get a more complete. Hey everyone, this is me, Ian Hazacostas, and I just want to announce that patch 9.5 is going to come. Hey, it's coming. Ha ha ha, I'm funny. And that there will be a PTR, perhaps next week, maybe the week after, something like that. So we may get something like that this week, which would be great. As you guys may know, like I've been the type to typically rail against public testing of that sort, but at least knowing that things are being worked on, getting previews like that, I'm totally cool with that. Once the PTR gets into people's hands and eyes and ears, and folks like me start to give our commentary, that's when we're going to see this whole meandering of the mood. It's like, oh yeah, great. This is like the cosmetics patch, but it's literally no So we're gonna get back to that high is gonna go away, and we're gonna get back to normal. I mean, like yesterday. I'm not gonna talk about this too much, but then there was more that was coming out of the Blizzard lawsuit. To cut it really short, the lawsuit is now including like all types of Activision Blizzard workers, not just employees, but it also includes contractors and temporary workers, people who were just there for a little while, who were just on contract to go there for a little while, and that also mentioned something about the possibility of not exactly shredding documents, like, oh, let's burn all the Cosby pictures or anything like that, but just addressing employee complaints who are exiting the company. Those documents apparently were destroyed far too soon than what officials had wanted it to. something like that. Obviously, I'm not demonstrating great comprehension over this particular story, but there's still stuff ongoing, which is great. I want it to keep going. I want the investigation to be thorough and all that stuff, and whatever makes the employees happy. One thing that I at least want to kind of pop my collar about, I kind of broke my virginity on this one. I finally timed a key in season 2 for the very first time. So I've been not purposefully, but I have not been putting a lot of effort into be like, all right, guys, we're gonna time keys, or else. It's been more like, hey, I got a 13. Who wants to deplete it with me? Who's with me? And they're like, yeah, let's go. So we would go and fail it. We even failed a 10, I think. I forgot which dungeon it was, but we failed by like 20 seconds or something like that. And so we were all kind of like, oh man, oh well. But then after raid last night, one of our guys, a friend of the guild, he was like, hey, you want to do a 16 with me and a couple of my guys? I'm like, yes, because I think I straight up said, yeah, dudes, that way so I can deplete the because my key decayed to an 8 because I didn't do any last week. Excuse me. And I want to raise it back up so I can deplete it some more again. Hell yeah, let's do it. And so I went. I took one of my guild mates. So it was me tanking. One of my guildmates came. He was a rogue. And then there was a boomkin and a hunter. And that made up... and we had a shaman healer. And that made up the group. We went into a Plaguefall 16. The affixes were Spiteful and Grievous. So for me, it was a vacation. For a tank, great time to learn. Because Spiteful, we don't care. Grievous... You might care a little bit, but then as a paladin tank, easy to keep myself up. So it was mostly just me like watching. This gave me a chance. I was obviously carried, right? I was carried by having like really high and knowledgeable players kind of talk me through and take me through everything. But thankfully, it was like considered like a perfect run or whatever, where I was able to pull all the right mobs and get to exactly 100% right before the end and blah, blah, blah. And we had plenty of time. We didn't 2-chest, but we had plenty of time. And I did good. So, sorry. I mean, this is me just kind of like feeling good about one of those gaming moments. And I'm glad that even though I was carried, I was still a tank. So I didn't just sit there and die and watch. It was actually, they were like, okay, pull this thing here, pull this thing there. And then I got to better observe just how it was with not just getting the pulls right or the positioning right, but it was also with listening to the team coordinate cooldowns and other such things to maximize damage where it needed to be. This is a fortified week. Being able to maximize that sort of damage. So I learned a lot, and I do feel like I want to learn more, but my comfort zone is very, I don't have a very strong, I just don't feel comfortable like most of the time whenever I'm doing these. But it helped. It helped being with people that I knew. These people were raiding with me, or they've been raiding with me for like the past couple of months. So I'm pretty grateful to those guys for helping me through. And now I got a 16. I'm going to get something cool in my vault. It's probably going to be something that goes into my belt. That's where my legendary is. And so I'm going to be like, oh, well, that was a waste. But it was still a lot of fun to do. And, it wasn't so bad. I don't know why I brought that up, but I just wanted to be like, woo. I think the last thing that I really want to go on about today, unless someone else has something that they want to ask me or want to address, is that yesterday in particular, but also over the past couple of weeks or so, there's been a lot of assholes on social media. Have you guys noticed that? Yesterday, there was a lot of backlash against let me try to not name names this time. There's a lot of backlash against particular large content creators and streamers, and trying to cancel them in a sense. Like they're like, okay, here's this person's comments from like a couple of years ago saying this and this and this, and it's hard to take too seriously because I'm looking at a soundbite and I'm like, okay, that's a pretty hot take, but you know, what about the whole thing? I don't know. And I think I've just it's very contradictory. And it's very discouraging too. This isn't just a WoW thing. This is just like a general this is just a general like, wow, everyone kind of sucks a little bit. In this particular case, and again, I'm trying not to name names because that's not the point. We're seeing these people being like, that dudette is a jerk, and they shouldn't have their platform. They shouldn't have the clout and the audience that they should have, and so I'm going to go on this crusade to, you know, bring this person down. And you have people on the other side being like, you're a dick. You and your cancel culture, blah, 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 rubble. But I also see those same people also saying, and now I will be WoW specific, these same people are like, WoW is dumb, something lawsuit, everyone should quit, the game is clearly dead, you suck for shilling for the game still. It's hypocrites all around, right? And it's a waste of energy. Now, I've had my hot takes, and I've had my rants about people who act a certain way or who carry themselves a certain way, and I'm always like, you know, I get what you're saying with regards to like discourse and not being fond of something, but like the way you come off, just, man, you kill the vibe, dude. You just kill the vibe for people who are enjoying these things. It's like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to wake us up or something? We're awake. It's just that we have the ability to continue suspending our disbelief. We still have the ability to enjoy things and not feel woke like you are or something like that. My advice when confronted with those sorts of situations, or if you feel uncomfortable hearing of or watching a certain someone, is the same kind of mentality that I would tell people who are just like, you know, super unhappy with WoW or some other game, is to just stop. Just stop watching, stop interacting. And there's no point going on some cruise. It's like store mounts, right? People will be like, hey guys, have you seen like the latest whack ass store mount, something Actibliz, Bobby Kotick, yacht, money, whatever. My take has always been, if you want it, buy it. If you don't want it, don't buy it. But on top of that, and I don't say this enough, on top of that, shut up. If you think it's bad for the game, just shut up. Say nothing. Say nothing, because every time you say anything about it, it's free marketing. Anytime you put something up on social media, hey guys, you see this mount? It's so dumb. I'm sure the eggheads over at Activision Blizzard, they're like, yeah, we see it. Yeah, keep going. Keep going with that free marketing, suckers. Same thing applies here. If there's a streamer or if there's a person that you just don't support, just don't watch them. Don't mention them either. Don't go on a crusade. Just let that person or people be off on their own world with their fans and their viewers and all that stuff, and just let them exist. I don't think there doesn't need trying to bring them down. Just galvanizes that audience and the person who represents them, and it creates this cycle. And all I'm trying to preach to folks is to break that cycle, and it starts with us. It starts with how long do we want to perpetuate it? Forget it. Just let it exist. And if they want to come out and yell at you or whatever, I have a really big mute list on my Twitter and my and the channel. You'll get muted, and that does kind of now I admit that does foster a sort of circle jerk mentality, because I'm choosing to only interact or otherwise watch people that not exactly that only agree with me or only cheer me on or whatever, but people who just aren't like dicks. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to cleanse my feed and my my social media of dicks. And yeah, that's it. I don't think and again, I'm not trying to like surround myself with fellow shills or fellow fans of WoW that only cheer it on and have nothing, literally no criticism, and will jump through hoops and go through all these mental gymnastics to justify, wow, so this is why conduit energy is so great. Oh my god, you just don't understand. No, I think it's stupid too. But we don't need to bring it down to like infighting, between us and fellow fans. It really doesn't have to go that way. It sucks seeing that, because it's such a waste of energy. It's such a waste of energy. It doesn't get anywhere because we're just talking about like some individual or some content creator or something like that, and it just doesn't need to go there. For those people, it's about venting their venom, not really making the game or their experience better. That's something that I think a lot of us have observed in our lives at some point. Like, who's worked in a retail job? Anybody? Retail or like food or otherwise front facing, like a job where you're front facing customers. Oftentimes you'll get that really rotten customer that comes in, or you'll get a person who is distressed for some reason. Like I used to work at Geek Squad. Hey. And the people that I would get, they wouldn't be excited to come in. Wow, hey, I'm here to get like new stuff. It's not like that. They would come in, hey, here's my broken stuff, fix it. And so we regularly confront, in that case, you regularly confront that sort of negativity. And the point of this whole thing is, I'm trying to say is, people just want to get heard. A lot of the time, if people if people want to vent, as long as they're heard, it does a lot to diffuse the situation, or to diffuse like their anger, knowing that someone hears them and that they're at the very very least nodding their head and acknowledging, hey, I hear you. I may not be able to address all of your concerns, but I just want to let you know that I'm listening, and so on and so forth. And Blizzard tries to do that. No says hi. Blizzard tries to do that by acknowledging that, hey, it sucks that sometimes, just because we don't acknowledge every single post or every single video or complaint or whatever, it doesn't mean that we're not reading it. We just, literally can't address every single comment at once, or not in a meaningful way. And it does suck because it feels like we're ignored. Like the other week, I put out that whole open letter. I didn't expect to hear back, because I know how this works. But not everyone is wired that way. They really want to make themselves feel heard. But anyway, I forgot where I'm going with all this thing. Again, just the takeaway is, it really sucks that over the past day or two, there's been more and more jerk faces going out on, from all sides of the aisle. I can't even say that there's like one side or the other side, but then there's just a lot of jerks going around, and there's a lot of behavior with people trying to brigade others and try to pull them down, and that's not okay. If you really think that someone doesn't deserve the support that they get, stop watching. I'm seeing it because I see my sub count dipping. So obviously there are some people that know how to do it, but not everyone does, and that's my takeaway.